Okay. And this is something else I want to talk to you about, kind of piggying back off that conversation about Bjork's comments. Do you think those comments are, he made on those podcasts, do you think he's just saying that because he has to? Because saying anything else would be having Day as a lame duck coach as they go into the playoff, as the transfer portal's open, and you can't really say anything negative about the head coach while they still have games in front of them. Do you think that's the case, or do you truly believe that Day is back no matter what happens on Saturday?
I believe everything Ross Bjork said.
At face value. Okay.
Yeah, I think it for face value, and it's. And I try to look at things very plainly. Ryan Day is the coach going into late December. Do you like? It will be so hard right now to replace him, keep players. And again, I understand. Like when we saw what happened with Alabama last year, dude, you guys see how that looks bad. It doesn't. It's not something you really want to go through. I think for Ross Bjork, and I'm sure he probably wants his own head coach there. And I get within the Ohio State fan base. Yes, we understand that we want to beat Michigan. Yes, Big Ten championship, all that. Like that's all strictly important, and it always will be important. And beating Michigan will be the most important thing outside of winning a national championship. That's the only thing I think that's more important than beating Michigan.
So there's some segments of the fan base that think beating Michigan's more important.
Shut the hell up. I told them to shut the hell up. Because this is why. This is why. Both those teams could. Let's say both those teams were 0-11 going into the game. 0-11. One of them has to win. What is that? What do you get from that season? I beat Michigan.
You get 365 days of bragging rights.
Okay,
that's what you get.
Cool. I'd rather go around saying kiss the ring. I'd rather go around saying I can go around saying my team is the best team in college football. I can go around saying that. Dude, no. I vehemently am against this, and I think, and this was funny about it. In no other rivalry in college football, this is the biggest rivalry in college football, in sports in general to me, and I think a lot of people agree with that. I remember years when Alabama was losing to Auburn and still running numbers up on people and winning national championships, and no one gave a damn. I've never seen any other college football program say I'd rather beat my rival than win the ultimate. That is baffling to me. And I maybe as a Buckeye fan, I should be more sympathetic and empathetic to it and understand that why there's reasons I think that way. I can't. As someone who has competed in sports my whole life, and I'm sure a lot of other people have, that's like saying it's more important to beat your high school rival than to go and win the state championship. Where they do that at?
Look, I think I somewhat agree with you. I'm not all the way there.
Well, let me ask you then. Is it more important to beat your high school rival or win the state championship?
For me, it'd be a state championship. But listen, here's where I agree with you. The national championship should be the ultimate goal, and then beating Michigan is a very close second. The Big Ten title, I think, is the distant third in those three goals. But most years, the way it's been, especially before the 12-team playoff, is you have to beat Michigan to get to the Big Ten championship. You have to win the Big Ten championship to assure your shot at winning a national champion, to get a chance to win a national championship. So that's why those three goals were kind of grouped together. I still think that beating Michigan is an incredibly important thing. And I'm not sure, and I'm sure you saw this, and this pissed a lot of fans off. Ryan Day, in an interview that came out yesterday from 10 TV here, Don Taberry, said that, our ultimate goal was to make the college football playoff. And a lot of fans were pissed off that he said our ultimate goal wasn't to beat Michigan. And looking at with the fact that Ryan Day hasn't beaten Michigan since 2019, I think some of that mentality is why Ohio State keeps losing to Michigan, because I think in his mind, throughout the season, they don't quite treat it like every other game, but they don't treat it as important as a national championship type.
Because it's not a national type game, Ryan. wait.
Okay, but if you want to win that game, you have to treat it as like, okay, if we win, we have to win this game because our season depends on it. Because a lot of the years, the last 3 years before this one, your season depended on it.
Yes,
and the results were bad.
That's their scenario. What I'm not, and here's the thing. I'm sorry that people can't understand nuance and context. When the playoff was the ultimate goal. They said the goals of the season were to beat Michigan, win the Big Ten. They failed on both of those. Yeah, and get to the playoff. That's where they are. That's still the ultimate goal, because the getting to the playoff means what? You win a national championship. As important as that game is to me as a fan, what I'm not going to do is, I think if you put that game, it is my opinion, if you put that game at the same level or above a national championship, you're just riding off of emotions. You're riding off of emotions. And because I'll bring this to your table. Would you rather have a season like 2011, but you win that game and then that's it for you? Or would you prefer a season like this where, yes, you do lose, but then you went and won the national championship? Which one are you taking?
If they win the national championship, I would prefer this season.
And if they beat Michigan in 2011. These are ifs. I'm saying, what scenario do you take?
The problem is, every year that they've lost to Michigan, the vibes have been so bad around the program after that loss that they have not been able to turn it around. And I'm pointing specifically to 2022 because that's the most recent data point we have for a national championship run.
Right.
After that game, the vibes could not have been worse around the program. For about 2 weeks, everyone was down in the dumps. Oh, we're going to get smashed by Georgia. We lose to Michigan again. How do we let them run all over us? All of this crap. They played pretty well against Georgia, but they still ended up losing the game. They had 3 weeks to prepare for that game. The mourning period was shorter. For this specific matchup against Tennessee, I'm concerned that the mourning period is not long. It's only about 2 weeks between games. I'm not sure that the fan base still hasn't really recovered emotionally enough from that. Okay, but you're right. But you can't tell me that the players have also put it behind them, because I can tell Ryan Day, he's trying his best to put on a front to say that he's put it behind him, but I don't think he has. And
would you
ultimately answer your question,
would you be upset if he said he did?
If he put it behind us, no, he's got. Look, at this point, you kind of have to put it behind him, because you can only move forward. You can only game plan for Tennessee, try to win out, and try to save your job. That's the way I look at things.